Look, there's something hanging in the air.
Okay, I mean,
That's
this
impossible.
cutscene I will skip. Yeah, sure. Yo, I don't think I've ever actually done retribution on Tachy on this part of the fight. That's the first. Oh, I thought I got that.
It's collapsing! Careful! No!
Ouch. One-third Nighttipa, one-third Battle Droid, one-third Tachy. 100% badass. Hello, it's you. I knew I was gonna be able to step backwards too. Goodbye. For the final time.
It's over.
Yes.
Eve. The subjugation is being lifted.
I've been waiting for this moment.
Now, you can rest.
Yes. My Eve. Thanks for freeing me. I have a favor to ask of you. My memories. Mother, Sphere. Can you send them to her?
No, Tachy looks so identical to Raven with her like
Will
facial
memories be
proportions.
destroyed? Because
Like that makes so much
already
more or so
contaminated.
much sense actually.
No, it won't be.
What if all of the commanders and all of the
in that case,
Eve prototypes on each one of these deployments
floating
had
among the
mostly the
stars.
same outward
Space.
appearance on them?
Tachy!
That would be the reason as to why Tachy looks so much like Raven and Raven looks so much like Tachy.
I promise, Tachy. May your memories live on. Forever.
Man, being reminded of these scenes each time in this game, it makes me mad. Like, there is two very good ways that you can set up emotionally impacting scenes in games, in movies, and in books. And those are, I mean, it's always a combination of setup and payoff. It's always like that. But particularly when it comes to more visual storytelling, like medium, like movies and video games particularly, if you have a character or characters and their context that they have with each other, you know, if you have that written well enough so that the reader actually cares about the characters a lot fundamentally throughout the story, then, well, you know, they bring so much extrinsic value so that the reader actually has to care about what they are reading and seeing on the screen, right? If you do that correct enough, it doesn't matter as much if the presentation on a scene like this is not done that well. Because the player so much already cares for the characters on the screen that even if something does not exactly have a very good reasoning or like logical progression of events or something, like it's gonna feel emotionally jarring regardless, because of how much the character or how much the viewer already cares about the characters. But this game, I mean, it tries to do that with charm, but it fails at doing it. And then when it comes to these moments themselves, another way that you can create emotional scenes or immersion in scenes like this is to have the presentation of the scene done so nigh perfectly that it doesn't matter who is watching it and what their understanding of the events leading up to that moment is. The moment itself is done to the point with its screenplay and dialogue and the pacing and the music to the point where it doesn't matter who is watching it, they are gonna get emotionally invested on the scene and nothing takes their attention off what is happening on the moment, you know? And that is another way that you can create like an emotional connection to what is happening. But this game also fails at doing that very badly. Literally every single one of these scenes. So I can't help but just be fucking annoyed at how like incompetent this game's like setups and payoffs are. And the same goes to like the NPCs as well. Like, man. Like, don't get me wrong, this game is very good. It is. But it's not a AAA game. If you're gonna tell me blind just by playing the game and comparing it to another game that is definitely a AAA game in my eyes, if I compare this game to something like, well, I mean, let's take something that resembles this and is more like a AAA game. Might be a bad example, actually. But it's like very similar to this. Like, it's kind of the thing is, a lot of the games that I have played or seen, they either have a combat that resembles something like this, but then they don't have much of like substance when it comes to like characters and like emotional investment on scenes and, you know, something like that. It's mostly just fight this, fight that. It's games like, you know, Black Myth Wukong or like Sekiro for most part, for example. Like, it's not so much for like, you know, vehicular storytelling that is presented on the screen as much. But this game is a lot more like that. So I guess it would be more fairer to compare to something like, I mean, it's very unfair to compare to something like God of War. Like God of War 2018 or God of War Ragnarok. It's just... But point is, those feel like AAA games. With the amount of finesse and care, everything in the game that you experience and see and interact with is so like well thought out, and so much like context and substance is just padded on top of everything, that it just feels like the game, regardless of how much respect you give for the game itself has so much rich substance and context to give at every single moment, at every aspect of it, that you literally cannot help but just be awed by it and immersed into what you see. You know? But in this game, like, there is so many missed opportunities, you know? And it just pains for me to see that. So then again, like, even though technically this is a AAA game, because it's published by Sony and funded by Sony also in collaboration with ShiftUp. Like, ShiftUp was just making mobile games before this, so like, this is literally their first, like, you know, AAA game that they just happened to give a shot at, and this is what they produced, right? Like, it's amazing, of course, yeah, but I don't think this is a AAA game. It does not feel like a AAA game when I play it. It straight up doesn't. It feels like a very, very, very good AA game. That's what it feels like. But yeah, I felt like I had to say that. I remember saying that same thing on the first playthrough also around the same time, but like, if this is gonna be the last playthrough that I do before the PC release of the game, I feel like I just had to get that off my chest again. Because I feel like I've been long enough time a bit quiet about that subject.
An airborne squad member who themselves became an Alpha Natiba. Is this the work of the Elder? Could I take a look at her memory stick?
Here.
Also, I played the Tachy fight pretty damn clean, I have to admit. That's one of the better ones.
It feels different from the Elder Natiba. I can dimly make out the image of a Natiba bearing black wings.
Black wings. It's the one that attacked Tachy and me. It has to be. But why?
I can feel the hatred, but I cannot feel the source.
Why? Why does it hate us?
It's not unusual for Natibas to find themselves at odds.
You know,
with
actually,
humans.
I came up with something fully new.
Yes.
I'm gonna mention it
You
after the scene's over,
located?
though.
It is not yet within the scope of my personal link. The same goes for the other Alpha Natiba.
All right then. We'll need another hypercell.
Where should we go this time?
This time, the hypercell is at the easternmost reaches of the desert, Abyss Lavoir. This one won't be easy either.
Let's hurry.
Yes.
Okay, here is something really interesting that I have not given a single thought about in this entire game, in all of these 5 playthroughs. And I have no idea why this is. Both as to why I haven't noticed it, and as to what the phenomena itself is. Why do the Nightibas in this game, the Elite Nightibas, why do the Alpha Nightibas, why do the Nightibas themselves, why do they separate the memory sticks from some of the Androidos members, and what the hell do they do with them? Let's take one, like, very concrete example. You know, like the Abaddon reskin fight that we fight on top of, like, the apartment complex buildings in the Great Desert in this very next area? That one has literally blocked, like, 7, like, memory sticks, and has, like, consumed them or something, and they just, like, we literally, like, extract them from his body after we kill him. Like, what is the reason as to why the Nightibas even use our memory sticks for anything? And the reason as to why I question that now is because I feel like some of the information that Oracle was able to get from that memory stick there, like, obviously every single bit of that information that he said that, you know, I can barely, or I can make out an image of a black Nighttiba wearing wings, you know, or whatever. Like, that is something that Adam just simply told him, you know, of how the events went. Like, Oracle knows based off just using their, you know, cognitive skills to be able to just, you know, Adam would simply just tell Oracle what happened and how it happened, when and whatever, you know? The Oracle just simply knows that it was Raven's doing, and he knows what Raven looks like nowadays and what she has become, so... It's not like something that he's reading from the memory stick, but it still gives me the idea that... What if...
Angel, I heard you were a great help in reactivating
has been
as a citizen
told
of
that
Zion.
obviously by
I
Adam,
would like to thank you.
but he's also able to somehow consume some of the contents that are on the memory sticks, because that would coexist really nicely with all of the other Nightypus in this game that we keep seeing that happens, somehow consuming the memory sticks and extracting the memory sticks from the Androidos members' bodies. Because that has to have some kind of explanation as to why they do that. Like, it's not enough for them to just kill the Androidos members. They kill them and they also sometimes take their memory sticks too. But why? I feel like that's one of the things that we are literally never gonna get an answer to as well. It's one of those. It's really bad.
As you know from first-hand experience, it is not
Listen to
an
what
easy
Adam
fight.
says here.
I'm aware of that. But I promise, I will find it. And I will make it pay.
Where is this E for the
That's
rest of
kind
the game?
mistake you can't make twice.
Can't make twice, yeah.
What? What did you say?
Nothing. Let's just prepare ourselves to go to Lavoir. Come to the safe house when you're ready to leave.
Yeah, that's one of the moments where Adam breaks character again. I think.